Even though it rained like crazy, I did a tremendous amount of shooting. Shooting with a camera, by the way. Someone asked, actually a couple people asked, shooting with what? Like a camera. While in Florida, I brought my Fujifilm X-T3 and my GFX 50R. I am still waiting, and I get asked this question seemingly every 10 minutes. I'm still waiting for a sufficient supply to manifest on the GFX 100. Of course, thankfully, Fujifilm let me borrow that camera for nearly 2 weeks and test it, and it's absolutely amazing. I've been saving for that camera for well over half a year. I can't wait to get it. Basically, it's you know, it's like a medium format X-T2 as far as speed and autofocus capability. I mean, far outstretches anything else in the medium format world. But my favorite camera still does, until I get the GFX 100. And I really, really love it. First thing I'm going to do when I get it actually is get insurance on it, of course. But my favorite camera still does remain the GFX 50R. It's not a camera for sports or sufficiently fast action, but medium format never has been. I got a tiny little zero Halliburton case that it and its lens goes into. It's literally the one package I've been waiting a very, very long time for, many countless years. A very inexpensive, compact, and for medium format, that is very compact. Medium format camera. It's still my favorite digital camera of all time. The GFX 100, and I'm very familiar with it since I tested it nearly for 2 weeks, the one that I borrowed. I mean, I don't have that yet, but I mean, I tested the hell out of it, but I mean, it's not the camera that, even though I'm going to have insurance on it, it's not the camera that I'm going to, rough about with, if you will. What I'm trying to say is, even though it's much superior in autofocus speed and image output, of course, than the GFX 50R, it's not a camera I'm, going to beat around like a redheaded stepchild and take it into the muck. And like, I wouldn't have taken it to the beach like I did to the GFX 50R, or, just take it out, sweating. And I nearly had that GFX 50R stolen by a punk, or tried to steal it in Florida. But I mean, if you have insurance, who cares? But I mean, the point being is that that's still my favorite. I did a lot of shooting with the X-T3. Just the best camera is the one that you don't have to fight. The one thing that actually defines cheap and crappy ass cameras is you have to fight with them. It's kind of like having a bad employee. They're always picking their nose, or goofing off when you're not standing over their shoulder. You can't rely on them to do anything. A good employee is the one where they intuit what needs to be done, they're working hard, you don't actually have to check up on them. They almost become invisible. The best cameras are invisible in your hands. The X-T3 is a perfect example of an invisible camera. It just does what I want it to do. Of course, you need to train with any camera system. I know the Fujifilm system is completely different than that of Canon and Nikon and Sony as far as its menus. Anything's better than Sony, of course. I was just so happy using those cameras the past 3 weeks. The GFX, I did a lot of shooting with the GFX 50R, a lot of shooting with the X-T3. Not a single thing to complain about. I love that GFX 50R. I don't know how much more that camera is going to go down in price. I know a lot of people that have that damn camera. A lot. And I have every GFX lens, which are currently there are 8. There are 2 more coming out. The one in September 26th, which is basically a month from now. The 50mm f3.5, I can't wait to get that. A 40mm field of view equivalent. I even knew basically nearly a year ago when they mentioned it that it would be at $1,000 or less, and I was right. I was right. It's going to be $1,000. And next year is the 40 to 100mm. I really, really love the 100 to 200mm GFX lens. Really love it a lot. That mounted on my GFX 50R, especially with a hand strap. If you get a GFX 50R and you don't have a hand strap, I think you're an idiot. You should get the hand strap. They call it the grip belt. It's a hand strap. Fujifilm calls it a grip belt, GB001. It was designed for the X-T1, but it works perfectly on the GFX 50R. Fujifilm, by the way, should advertise it as such now. Just keep making the same damn strap and say it's for the GFX 50R. It still remains my favorite digital camera of all time. The next one right underneath that might be either the Nikon D850 or the Nikon D4. And I also brought this, even though I didn't use it as a backup, because I actually love the hell out of it. And that's the Fujifilm X-T30. What a great little camera. Probably shouldn't be admitting that I didn't bring a Nikon with me. I love Nikon. I still have all my Nikon stuff. D850 is my favorite DSLR of all time, essentially. I love the Nikon D850. It's amazing. Truth by consensus. The one thing that astonishes me, the people, and I mean this literally, the people I have the least respect for on YouTube and other places are every one of them is praising Sony. It's like, I love Sony. It's like, these are the people I wouldn't even buy a $5 widget from that on their highest recommendation. It's like, no, they recommended it. They literally, there's so many things you can learn if you're smart by looking at what stupid people talk about or recommend. It's like a perfect reason to get me to never buy a Sony is looking at the most unintelligent, profane people on YouTube pushing and pimping that crap that I have no respect for. I know they don't shoot. People actually complain to me. It's like, I know you don't shoot. It's like, I did, you know, I average 2 to 3 paid gigs a month. Okay, look into my eye. 2 to 3 paid. Is that much? No, it's not. I mean, I have 3 jobs technically, but 2 to 3 paid gigs a month is 2 to 3 more gigs than the top 3 YouTubers, photography channels combined. Boom! Mic drop. Did I just say that? Oh yeah, not only that, I meant it because it's true. Why does that never cross anybody else's mind? I don't like that guy. I just think he sits by. You know, the reason why, you see this sunburn on my shoulder? You know, I was actually out doing a lot of shooting the past 3 weeks. A lot. People just like see me making videos behind this desk, and I think they think that I'm like vegging here. I'm like growing roots. Maybe they think roots are growing out of my butt into the floor or something. I think that's what a lot of people think. You just make videos. You're just a tech guy. You're a camera sniffer. There is a guy on YouTube that sniffs cameras, and he takes pictures of brick walls. Why don't you go attack him? That guy doesn't do any paid gig photography. He doesn't do any shooting either that I know of. Why the hell do I get so much flack? The reason why I get so much flack is because I'm a grumpy, well, I'm not a mean guy. I just have a low tolerance for BS. I'm not selling anything. Don't have any affiliate links. I'm not trying to, you know, scam you or blow smoke up your butt. Oh, but I get all the flack. Well, it seems like I get all the flack, but those are still my favorite cameras. GFX 50R, I love that camera. The GFX 50R is so cheap. People say, that's an old sensor in that camera. It's still a medium format camera, you know? The image output from that old sensor will blow the hell out of any 61 megapixel image from a full frame sensor off that new Sony. People don't realize medium format. They want to pixel peep everything at 400%, 200%. And it's like, look, it's just as much detail in this as they're not qualitatively the same. Pixel peeping at 200, 400%. It's like, look, this is how people actually that can't afford a medium format. This is how they rationalize. I don't need a medium format camera. Look at this. Both these images are the same. Looking at it at 400%, they both have just about as much detail. Medium format versus full frame, medium format versus crop sensor, they are nowhere even close qualitatively the same, nor quantitatively. You know, it requires a lot less enlargement to make an 8x10 off a medium format image, right? There is a medium format look too, by the way. It's not my opinion, it's actual math. You're actually closer with the same field of view. For example, you're with have an 85 millimeter field of view, but you're in closer with 110 millimeter lens in the case of, the 110 millimeter f2. You have an 85 millimeter field of view, but you're zoomed in. You're tighter in on the focal length with a 110 millimeter for the medium format. That is the medium format look. You're closer with a identical field of view, and medium format image is instantly recognizable. There is not a single photographer out there, unless it's a YouTube pimp, and I'm not talking about YouTube pimps and shills. Every photographer, Zach Gary, everyone, it's like, yeah, medium format's different. It's a different beast. So these people that are pixel peeping at 200 and 400% on YouTube, these button sniffing pixel peepers, they're just clueless. Medium format is qualitatively unsimilar to full frame or crop sensor. Anybody that looks at the images will immediately recognize it. Anyway, I will stop flapping my lips. I'm still recovering from that 1,000-mile. It actually gets to me, but some people just can go 1,000 miles. I have to unpack. You have to pay all these crazy-ass bills because I've been gone for a month. There's just all this stupid garbage to do and to get an oil change. Just tons and tons and tons of stuff to do. It stresses me the hell out, so it takes me always a week to recover from any damn trip. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe that's the reason why. Thanks so much for watching.